What's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today I'm going to be talking about a brand new Fathom event film set to hit theaters on June 17th, and later it'll be on demand on mid-July. It's A Father's Legacy. A Father's Legacy, previously titled The Old Man in the Pond, stars Tobin Bell as a lowly old man that lives on a pond, never expecting to find a wounded criminal step onto his porch, but that's exactly what happens, and instead of running or calling the police, the old man, unafraid of dying, opens his front door to this young man, and they begin to realize that they were brought together for a reason. So in the world of faith-based films, I'm personally always looking for movies that approach the subject in new and different ways, and A Father's Legacy was mostly advertised as such. Not only that, but I'm also a huge fan of Tobin Bell as an actor, known mostly for his role as the Jigsaw killer in the massively popular Saw franchise. But I've seen him in a few other projects as well, and I truly believe that he excels wherever he's placed. And he's a better actor than he lets on. I'm not sure if it was a shout out to his fans or not, but in the beginning of this movie, he can be seen fiddling around with a jigsaw puzzle in his home, which is not tied to any kind of main or subplot. It's just a random thing that his character does. And I couldn't help but think that that was a shout out to his biggest character in his career. And if that's true, I love that that's in a faith-based film of all things. How does he do in this movie? As if it were any surprise at all, he's excellent. My bias towards him kept waiting for him to tell this kid that he wants to play a game. But past that, he actually is challenged with showing a lot of concealed emotion, as his character has a history that he does not like to talk about or even think about. But it's the type of thing where sometimes you just can't help it. The young man in the film is played by Jason Mack, who also wrote, produced, and directed the film. I found the delivery of his dialogue to sometimes be a little bit stiff, but that's less associated with his acting than it has to do with his writing. The script itself, being a faith-based film, has a lot of Christian themes going on, obviously, and I felt like a lot of the faith dialogue specifically came from his lines. And it's those lines that, it took me out of the film a few times. But to be fair, he does give it his all, and it's in between these lines of dialogue when he's forced to emote through facial expressions, and that's where I actually believed his performance. He's not a bad actor, he's just not an experienced screenwriter, and the script alone can make good actors seem a little bit bad. The message of the film is told through a literary device called mirroring. The whole reason why these two are having a bond of sorts is because they both have a sordid history with father figures in the past, and they know what it means to live a life without a father present. This is clearly the aspect of the film that approaches the faith part in a different way. Because sure, you can see this missing father dilemma as Heavenly Father, or you can take it literally, as there really is a history in their lives when it came down to their dads. I thought that was pretty unique and smart. As quoted from the director, he stated, "Too many young men have no male role models growing up, and he hoped that this film inspires other men to give hope and to be there." And I respect that as one of those young men that also didn't have a male role model growing up. I definitely feel like I missed out on a lot of really important things as a kid, and I related to this film in that way because it's also something that I don't like to talk about that much. As a film in general, it's certainly not bad. It doesn't immediately feel like it's faith-based either. It has moments here and there where, it's definitely obvious, but you're honestly really just watching for this friendship and this bond between this older man and this younger man. The message is clear, and never once was I offended or annoyed that the fact it is also faith-based, as I consider it to be more inspirational than religious. I think casting Tobin Bell was an ingenious move, but I also think that the film is going to go over a lot of people's heads because of a lack of marketing and or good poster. I don't like this poster. I preferred the look of the original poster when it was called The Old Man in the Pond, which both posters are centered on skipping rocks and a ripple effect of sorts, which is important to the story. But it's much more captivating with this almost halo effect circling Tobin Bell's head. The newer poster unfortunately looks like something you might gloss over while scrolling through Netflix or Tubi TV or something, but I guess it all depends on the target audience. Let's go ahead and break down my final score. From an unbiased technical perspective, I appreciated some of the editing work done on the film, and I can't really get into that too much since I don't want to spoil anything, but there was a few moments here and there in the film where I even said out loud, that is some decent editing. I also think that the film is professionally shot, which of course is typical for most films, but it's more of an oddity for faith-based movies, so I appreciated how it was shot and put together. I thought casting Tobin Bell was brilliant. The character development, that took its time. But it's also one of those narratives where the goal of the story is more intrinsic in nature, so something like coming of age where these characters are mostly just riding the waves, learning more about themselves in the process. That is fine, and I do get it. But I prefer a more tangible plot where the characters are trying to do something specific. That way they have obstacles in their path, and I don't really think that they had many obstacles here, other than, again, intrinsic obstacles. This score is 66%. As for my bias score, or how I felt about the movie in general, I liked it better than I thought I would. I connected and I related to the film on levels that kind of surprised me. But I also have to admit that a majority of why I liked the movie in the first place came right down to Tobin Bell and my love for him as an actor. I can't exactly just outright say that he's a good character on paper, he's just a guy. Take him out of the film and recast him, and I guarantee that I probably wouldn't like the film as much as I did. I think for the most part, it does what it needs to do, and it's a pleasant, feel-good film in the moment, but it's not something that I plan to revisit anytime soon. This score is 58%, and when we average out the two scores together, we come to the final rating of 62%. 62 out of 100 possible stars, or a D letter grade. So yeah, I didn't know what to expect with this film, but on its own, it's not bad at all, and if you're in the target audience with it, you won't be disappointed. What about you guys though? Have you seen A Father's Legacy? Are you looking forward to it? I want to hear in the comments down below, and as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with the next review. And until then, peace out.
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert, he is the #1 critic that I go to when I need a movie pick. Thanks for joining up with us.